Hello, I'm Michael Benz, PR Director and Broadcaster for the Birmingham Bulls, and you're watching Wendy's Inside Bulls Hockey on the WB WTTO Channel 21. And welcome back to the Wings on Highway 280 for this week's edition of Wendy's Inside Bulls Hockey. And taking a look at what's on tap for the Birmingham Bulls, a road game tomorrow night in Lafayette, Louisiana, a rematch against the Ice Skaters down there at the Cajun Dome. And then on Sunday afternoon, the Bulls will be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana to take on the Kingfish before finally returning home to take on the Jacksonville Lizard Kings at the BJCC. 7 o'clock start time. For more information, you can always call the Bulls ticket office at 458-8833. And if you need individual tickets or to charge by phone, the number to call is Ticketmaster at 715-6000. And it's now the time of the show where we're going to ask this week's biggie question of the week. And the question comes from our very own player, Dennis Smakofsky. And Dennis, you got this week's biggie question of the week.
Денис,
Yes, Dennis.
как много игроков может быть в команде с визой, то есть из других стран?
I think I got most of that. Dennis is asking how many visas we are allowed to have on...
No, Dennis. He said in simple Russian, your hair is as white as the Russian snow. But go ahead, whatever you thought anyway, we'll go with it.
A little junior humor here. But anyway, we'll go with the visa thing again. He's going to pay for that on Sunday when he doesn't get to watch his Rams on the bus on the way home from Baton Rouge. Anyway, Dennis was wondering about the visas that we're allowed to have on our hockey team. And being a Russian, Dennis, of course, does have to have a visa. He's one of the fellows that is required to have a visa. And really, we're allowed, and it's not a league rule or a team rule, we're allowed to have 16 visas. It's a U.S. immigration rule. And of those visas, they can be Canadians or Russians or Czechoslovakians, whatever, anything other than an American, with the exception of there are some exceptions that we can use. Now, we can carry up to 20 guys on our hockey team. We can only have 16 visas. The number between 16 and 20 can be made up of green cards, which are resident aliens, which primarily are obtained by people, Canadians in this case, most of the time, or Dennis in this case, if he were to marry an American girl, would get a green card. Also, the other way you can make it up, of course, is with American players, and the other way are Native Americans, which are people with Indian descent. They're not required to have a visa. They don't observe a border, so therefore they don't. They're considered both Canadian and American. So that's how we would make up our team. But really, with Canadians, and in our case with Dennis being a Russian, we're only allowed 16 visas. So other than that, it's Americans, green cards, and Native Americans.
And thank you, Dennis Smakofsky, for your biggie question of the week. Fans, don't forget, you can send your question, care of the Birmingham Bulls, P.O. Box 1506, Birmingham, Alabama, 35201. And Dennis, when we take a look at the week ahead, it all gets started tomorrow night at the Cajun Dome in Lafayette, Louisiana, a rematch against the Louisiana Ice Skaters.
That's right. It's a big game. It's one of the teams that we haven't played a lot this year. We haven't fared well against them, and we do have to fare well against them. They're in first place right now. It's a team that we want to catch. We got Baton Rouge, another team we've not played a lot. They're a good hockey team. We got to beat these hockey teams, and then after that, it's a very tough week, very tough weekend. We finally get a little break by coming home.
Yeah, and then you do come home to face the Southeast Division's Jacksonville Lizard Kings. Talking about teams you should beat, when you see teams that are in the bottom half of their divisions, especially on home ice, that's 2 points you don't want to give up on home ice.
Well, you certainly don't, but you can't take it for granted because they're a good hockey team. You've got to remember those teams that play in that division are playing PD in Florida, and those are good hockey teams. And Greenville's a very good hockey team. They play a lot of games against those teams, so they're playing good teams all the time, and you can't underestimate them. Jacksonville's a much improved hockey team, and we have to really play well to beat them. We're gonna have to be prepared.
So fans, it's road games this week in Louisiana before the team finally returns home Tuesday night, February the 1st, to take on the Jacksonville Lizard Kings. Game time set for 7 o'clock. And fans, as we get ready to close this week's show from Wings on Highway 280, I promised you last week, and I never am one to disappoint, that we'd have a new segment and a special surprise. And Dennis, I know you've been asking me a lot, and I wanted to do this for the fans. I know you've become a spokesperson, and you've actually started endorsing a product. That product is Thicker, Fuller Hair. The spokesperson is president of the HLP, Hair Loss Prevention President, Dennis DeRozier. Dennis, you want to take some time to talk about your new product that you are now the poster boy of. See, it helps thinning hair, which we're going to work on for him, so that way we'll have him.
And I'm going to show you just how well it's going to work in about a minute here, Jim.
We don't want to do that, but catch us at your local grocery stores. Dennis DeRozier supports it. Fans, that's all the time we have. For the head coach, Dennis DeRozier, I'm Michael Benz saying so long and good night. Easy.
Hair jokes.
She's a funny feminist with blue-collar charisma. She's Roseanne. Coming up next on WB21. The fun starts here.